Hi guys, so in this video I want to talk about self-love and what self-love really means and how you could use self-love to literally create the best life starting now. Because you know, if you've ever read into spirituality or different stuff like that, you always hear about the power of now and how the present moment is all you really have. And I know that could sound really cliche, but it's cliche because it's true. And so I want to talk about with you about the power of self-love and how that relates to the present moment, because really it is true. All we ever have is the present moment. And I think that true self-love can only happen in the present moment. And so yeah, let's get right into it. So self-love. Maybe let's talk about what it isn't first. Self-love is not doing something to improve yourself, but to get other people's attention, validation, or anything like that. That is not self-love. That is basically trying to please other people. And that is not what self-love is. What self-love is doing stuff for yourself that is just for the sake of loving yourself or helping yourself or supporting yourself. These are all different words that you can use for loving yourself. And when you think about love, love is giving yourself what you need in the moment. Self-love is doing things for yourself to create the things and the life that you want. This is what self-love is. Self-love has nothing to do with impressing other people. If you're going to buy a car and it's just to impress your neighbors and to impress your family, that is not self-love. Self-love is buying yourself the car because you want it and it's going to help you to get to the jobs or the gigs that you want to do. You want to be a model and you need a car in order to get to the different gigs that you're applying for. And you want to be a model because you notice that there's not that many models that are of your ethnicity. And so you want to basically empower other people of your ethnicity to go out there and pursue their dreams. And you want to achieve that by modeling, and getting a car is going to help you to accomplish that goal. Now that is self-love. If you buy yourself a car, that is self-love. So as you can see, self-love is always about you. Self-love is not about other people. And so that's the most important thing when you think about self-love. It has absolutely nothing to do with anybody else, and it has everything to do with yourself. And so self-love, the other thing about self-love is that self-love is always what's best for you and not necessarily what's easy for you. Sometimes self-love means going for that walk, that 30-minute walk that you told yourself you would do today, because you committed yourself to walking for 30 minutes because you want to be healthier and you chose walking as your form of becoming healthier. Sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable to practice self-love. Sometimes self-love comes in the form of writing or reading or going to therapy or seeking help from somebody else. Self-love is not always easy. But sometimes self-love is to comfort yourself. Sometimes self-love is, it could be to treat yourself to an ice cream after a really long week. And it's just a way for you to reward yourself for all the hard work that you've been putting in. Self-love could be to go get yourself a massage. It could be to go get your nails done. It could be, to go get yourself a haircut. So really self-love can be expressed in an infinite amount of ways. But regardless if the self-love is hard or if it's easy or if it's comforting or making you uncomfortable, the intention is always love, to support, lack of judgment, and just encouragement. You see? So be very mindful of this. Self-love is never, I'm going to do this because this person wants me to do that. That is not self-love. To force yourself to go to school and study something and apply for a bunch of jobs for a career that you're going to get because it's going to make your parents happy, that is not self-love. Self-love is there's something that you want and you're going to work for it. Self-love is never about pleasing other people. That is not self-love. It might make you uncomfortable to not do the thing that your parents want you to do and for you to do what you want to do. It might be uncomfortable, but remember, self-love sometimes is the uncomfortable thing. And on top of that, you could still do what you want and not do what your parents want you to do, for example, and still love your parents. That's the power of communication. And there's so many different ways that you can love your parents. So self-love doesn't mean that you're being selfish necessarily either. Because self-love is just one type of love. It doesn't mean that you can't love other people. So I just want to encourage you to take some time today, whenever you're watching this video, to practice self-love. Work on building something that matters to you. It could be your health. It could be a future business idea. It could be learning a new skill, learning how to play an instrument. Whatever it is that's been whatever you've been interested in, do something to get yourself closer to that today. And if you're just not feeling well today, give yourself what you need. Talk to somebody. Treat yourself to something if you've been working really hard and you feel like you need a break. Give yourself some self-love today, because everybody deserves love. And we all deserve self-love. Because when you love yourself, you're a better person for everybody. And so it has a ripple effect where everybody gets better when you practice self-love. All right, guys, if you made it this far, I hope you got some value. Make sure to subscribe, comment any questions or ideas for future videos, and make sure to like the video. It helps more than you might think. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'm posting videos like this every single day. Bye.